What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Fight Out podcast with Ellen Mike. We're going to be talking about the aftermath of UFC Noche at the Sphere. Started unreal for me and then kind of fizzled out as we got to the co-main and main, but we'll dive into that. Mike, what did you think?
Yeah, it was the fight seemed dead well matched up, didn't he? Seemed brilliantly matched up. I thought the same as you, they sort of tailed off when he got to the championship fights, but
Yeah.
that happens quite often when there's two really high level fighters fighting and one of them thinks they've got a clear route to victory. That can happen quite often, can't it? So
Yeah,
I wasn't massively surprised. It's the fighters who were sort of up and coming and fighting for a ranking and chasing certain things, they're willing to throw caution to the wind a little bit, where like the likes of O'Malley and Merab might not be as willing to do so.
yeah. I mean, the Sphere itself, we weren't exactly slagging it off, but we were saying we kind of think they've made an error with how much they pushed it. It was unreal, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was amazing. Like I'll be honest, I have obviously recorded the card and watched it this morning, so I did skip through quite a lot of it. But as I was fast forwarding, I kept repressing play just so I could have a little look at it. Yeah. And it was amazing. Like it was an amazing setup and amazing to watch. And I hope they do another one there, to be honest.
I know. Well, someone said just do it once a year.
Yeah,
and have a different theme each time. Like I wouldn't be opposed to another Mexico theme there, but I get like, yeah, okay, we've done that. Like, let's do something else. But I just thought they absolutely nailed it when I really didn't think they were going to. I thought they kind of bit off a bit more than you could chew and were scrambling a little bit, but I was way off the mark.
Yeah, pre-events, I thought they've marketed the card and haven't marketed the fight, and that's because the fights aren't that great. We discussed that on the pod earlier.
Yeah.
But to be honest, they marketed the right thing because the show was amazing and the fights outperformed up until the co-main, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. So we'll dive into the main event then to start off. Merab against Sean O'Malley. Merab, the new champ, another wrestling-based champ. Just before we go into them, I can't really figure out what happened to O'Malley. He kind of just, as the last few fights, he's done this thing, hasn't he, where he talks about like being in the moments and he talks about his breath work when he walks out and all that. So he's like, he's always breathing, he's always quiet. He's not like, his walkouts aren't wild, they're always controlled. But this one just looked different to me. I don't know if he was nervous or I don't know. I thought there was something off with him.
Yeah, taking away sort of any pre-fight stuff and just talking about in the fight, he looked to me like he was just reliant on that one shot. He was looking for that one shot. He wasn't trying to put anything together. He was just looking for that one shot. And Merab was constantly on the move. Now, the fitness level of Merab has got to be spoken about. He's moving non-stop for 5 rounds. And I think I've seen on the stats one of the rounds, he landed 69 strikes in 1 round. So there's something to be said about the conditioning of Merab and the effect that has on O'Malley. When he went into the 5th round, in between rounds, O'Malley had his hands on the cage, breathing quite heavy. And Merab was just dancing around still with his corner. So obviously the cardio played a massive, massive factor. But O'Malley definitely didn't look himself.
He didn't fight like his fight, that's all I didn't think. And in between that round, in between 4 and 5, Tim Welch said to him, 5 minutes and we're out of here. It's over. I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was words to that effect. But it weren't like, didn't sound like 5 minutes and you've got your belt back. It was like, right, 5 minutes and we're done. We'll forget about this and go out kind of thing. It was a very weird thing to say, I thought.
He did, for me, like Sugar Sean didn't establish any dominance. No. I didn't see in any round a clear path how he could win. Didn't see him putting shots together. And to be honest, when it got to the 4th round, I thought, shall I just fast forward to the end here? Because I know it's a decision win for Merab already. I didn't see a route to it. I didn't do that. And in the 5th round, I think it was about 2.5 minutes left on the clock, he landed a front kick to the body.
Yeah.
And it was the only time he hit Merab, and it took him 22.5 minutes to throw that shot.
Even that was mad though, wasn't it? Because like you're saying, it took him that long to throw that shot. Yeah. And it's kind of one of them where it's a bit of an accumulating shot, isn't it? Like you throw a few of them and you start to get tired. Obviously, if you catch them in a certain area, it can really hurt them. Like when Cheeto need Sean in a same sort of area, like the last minute of their fight. But it was just strange, like how he didn't throw it, how much that hurt Merab. And you think if he'd have just done that from the start, it might have been different. And the only thing is, Merab's a bit mad, isn't he? And I don't know if he just took Sugar Sean out of his game that much from the go, because he was trying to fight Tim Welch. And I know it sounds a bit daft, but maybe like the breaking concentration threw Sean off. And then he just couldn't quite get going anyway, because that was like 30 seconds into that round or something, the first round.
I think every so often you see like a sort of a tide turn. Obviously, it's quite a young sport, but every so often you see like there was a time where the champions all tended to be elite strikers, and then it was grapplers. And now there seems to be something to be said about these people who can sort of weaponise the cardio. You've got Bilal, who's a champ, Dricus du Plessis, who's a champ, and now Merab. Them three for me technically aren't the most gifted, and they don't really, other than Dricus because he's a big fella, but Bilal and Merab don't really threaten. They take you down, they control you, but they don't really threaten to finish. Like, I didn't never think for one second Merab was going to finish O'Malley. I just thought if O'Malley gets wild and throws some strikes, he's getting put on his back for 3 minutes again.
Yeah. No, to be fair, it's a very good shout about the weaponised cardio. And I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Merab. He come in, executes the perfect game plan. And to be fair, it weren't even a boring fight. Like I didn't like the Bilal and Leon fight at all. With this, I still didn't like the fight, but I wouldn't class it as boring as that or anything. It was just a game plan where I wanted to see more striking out of O'Malley. And Merab stopped him from ever getting. He said at the end, didn't he? He said I made him look normal. And he absolutely did. He made him look like he shouldn't have been in there.
At the top of the show, as I said, like there's something to be said where there's a clear route to victory, and Merab's clear route to victory was just executed perfectly. The game plan was perfect, and now I'm sure we'll touch on the scorecards, but I had it 5-0.
Yeah, the scorecards, the whole of the scorecards, by the way.
I had there was only one fight where I thought the scorecards were decent. It was the co-main. All three judges gave it 50-45 in the co-main. We'll get to that, but on this fight, the most you could have said, I don't even think you could have said O'Malley won a round. Did he win a round?
I think it was round 3, weren't it, where he had a good kind of like not even about 90 seconds towards the end, but you wouldn't have given the round.
He was on his back for the first part of it, wasn't he? Like there
wasn't. Got up, didn't he? He was throwing a few.
Yeah.
He caught him. I'd say what O'Malley still done brilliantly. I love the way he does it when he switches to southpaw, and then he throws the left hand right away after it.
Yeah.
He'd call PO to Yam with it.
Yeah.
But I think he hit Merab at the end of that round I'm sure at round 3 anyway, where he done the same thing. He switches southpaw, throws the left hand, and it always lands, and he's so good at it, doing that little switch. But like you're saying, other than that, he was on his back. Yeah.
As you say, like obviously I like O'Malley more than like Merab, but I don't want to take nothing away from Merab. It was same as sort of the Bilal fight. It was a good, solid win, and it was a dominant win. There's no way he deserves a rematch. So
yeah. The only thing is now with all these champions, I just hope that they stay active, and because they are cardio machines, I do think that they will, which is good because you see more fights. Next, it's got to be Umar, hasn't it? You know what I mean?
I did see though in his post fight, he said he thinks Davis and Figueiredo deserves the shot more than Umar.
Yeah, that was a bit of a mad shout, wasn't it?
For me, I think Figgy needs one more, and Umar's obviously Umar's got the name as well, so he's got both, and he's dominant, and he's got the name. But we'll see who he takes next.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Figueiredo and Jan is more or less done in it as well.
I think so. Yeah, I think I've seen that on Twitter. Yeah.
I mean, he's technically tied up. Umar was there. Even Rogan mentioned them, so be very surprised if it isn't, but we'll see, you never know. And then so the co-main, Valentina against Grasso, we said before that we were very torn. You went Valentina, I went Grasso. Oh my God. She looked like she didn't even get out of bed.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's good to watch, the fights without commentary, but I think sometimes when Joe Rogan's on it, it's great to watch it with commentary. Yeah. And I think he said something halfway through the fight. It might have even been DC, to be honest, but one of them said, it looks like Grasso was trained off her back so much that she thinks that she should beat it.
Yeah.
She's just comfortable being on her back. She was just holding her in the garden. She lost every round, basically, just by position.
Yeah. I think there was again, when you talk about game plans and stuff, Valentina obviously had a clear game plan. Yeah. And it was DC that said, we're basically seeing what we thought we were going to see the first time these two fought, when Valentina's odds were mad and she was about a 1-2-8 favourite.
Yeah.
And I was like, that is absolutely nail on the head. The second fight, again, we talked about it on the pre-show. You could have argued for a Valentina win there comfortably. Like, it weren't like she's ever been out of a depth in any of the fights. Obviously, she got submitted in the first one, and then last fight, I thought she was absolutely brilliant. I still think Grasso did have an off night on top of it. Like, it's not as if their levels are that wide apart. But obviously, Valentina's proved she's the better fighter out of them too. I don't want to see it again either.
No, I think it's one of them. Like, obviously, the 1-1 with a draw as well. So there's a market for the fourth fight, but if you actually watch them fights, say they fought for about 12 rounds or something, 13 rounds. Shevchenko's won like 10, 11 for me.
Yeah.
So I don't see there's like a massive market for the fourth. I think it was a dominant win again, and I think I want to see Shevchenko fight someone else.
Yeah.
The only thing on that fight was there's a lot of talk on commentary about like how much control time matters more than like being dangerous off your back. And there was one round in particular, I don't know if it was the third or the fourth, where she had it in a guillotine.
Yeah.
I could see an argument there where Grasso won that round.
Yeah, because she's more aggressive in my opinion. She's the one going for the finish.
Yeah, she shot for the finish and she had it in deep. She just didn't have the right position. So maybe 49-46, but at the end of the day, it makes no real difference.
Yeah. No, the commentary was. I mean, you know what? We didn't even touch on Herb Dean in that the main event. Lad, what was he up to? Saying like, let's work, and Merab putting it on O'Malley.
Well, look, I thought, to be honest, it was a funny one because he done something early. Obviously, he had that Merab where he was talking to Tim Welsh early, handled that really well, and then there was the other one where he grabbed the gloves. O'Malley grabbed the gloves. You know, he had inside the gloves when he was on the ground.
Yeah.
And he handled that one really well, and I was thinking, Herb's a top ref, and it's like level ref. And then when he was telling, he was almost like he was going to stand them. But
he was kind of too involved, wasn't he? Like, he's not usually like that either. I quite like Herb Dean as a ref, but he was off the mark for me. And like you said there about the commentary, usually I think the commentary can be a bit biased and he can sway you. Yeah. But right on the money with that straight away, saying like, what is he on about? Like, why is he saying work? Why? I did think he was going to stand them up at one point. Of course, bit heavy if he does that.
I just thought, please don't stand them up, please, because you've made that. If you just say something like you can get over that, but if you stand them up here and O'Malley knocks him out, he's nothing down for you.
Yeah, absolutely agree. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on that.
Yeah.
Before we kind of moved on.
No, fair point.
Yeah, and then this for me, up until this point, the card was on fire. Like it was unreal. And the first round of Lopes against Ortega, the first 30 seconds was absolutely bizarre. I said to you the night of the shot, I think he's going to blow him away.
Yeah.
And obviously, after I'd said it, I wanted it to happen even more. But when he come out and done it, I was like, wow, oh my God, he's putting him to sleep here. And then it grinded out, but what a fight.
I think, I know we like an out there shout, don't we, on this podcast? And I thought he looked really good, Lopes, really good. 30-27, 30-26, however you had it, I think was fair. Dominated, won comfortably. Competitive fight, but he won comfortably. My only issue with Lopes is that first round is the exact reason why he won't never be the champion.
Yeah, without the finish.
Yeah. He should have put Ortega away there, and he ego force. He wanted to submit him, or he wanted to beat him on the ground. If he should have just let him get up, and he'd have finished him.
I mean, at the end of the day, he's a bit of a live by the sword, die by the sword.
Yeah.
You can see him getting knocked out. Especially someone like Ilya, who's just going to snipe him. But as like a fighter for getting people to want to watch fighting, you cannot look past it. Like, he's so exciting. He's obviously, like, now he's got like a nice follow and stuff like that. He's on a tear. He's going to be number 3 in the world come Tuesday or whenever the rankings come out. Love watching him, but I know what you're saying about like that kind of like final few percent to become champion. It's almost like and maybe he might get it over the next couple of fights or something, but he is kind of missing that little last touch, I think.
It gives me a little bit of the Gaethje when he first joined the UFC. Sort of wants to go in and brawl, wants to put a fight on for the fans, but he's got the skill set probably to be a champion. I just don't know whether he'll get there if he carries on with the same like style. But it's what you want in it, because Gaethje's like had the most bonuses in UFC history. Looks like he's doing pretty well for himself when you see his house on embedded and stuff like that. So it's what you want, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And with Ortega, like obviously before that I said that I think he's going to blow him away. And I just want to kind of say, like, for the record, I'm not saying like Ortega's not on that level anymore.
Yeah.
I see it the way the match went, and I think Ortega should now move up to lightweight and give it a go in there, because where does he really sit now at featherweight? He's a good few fights away from a title shot again. Do what Max done. Go up to I know Max has come back down, but go up to lightweight, get a nice big fight there. There's some nice matchups for him, really. Imagine like a Paddy Ortega, something like that in the future. Lovely matchup, and gets both of them close to a title shot.
Imagine a Charles Oliveira Ortega. I know obviously he's got a sort of, he'd have to fight a few before he fights Charles, but like they're very similar fighters, aren't they? They're both crisp strikers and unbelievable on the ground. And speaking of his crisp striking, I thought like in the first round, he looked a little bit slow and he got caught with a shot that he probably would have seen if he was a little bit more active. But by the third round, I thought Ortega was boxing pretty well. He just got outwitted in the second and third.
I did see, like, I mean, I know it's not that long now, but I did see like a little bit of ring rust in him where you can see that Lopez is a more active fighter. There was some little angles Lopez was putting up that Ortega weren't cutting onto and stuff like that, without going, too technical and pretending like we know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But it did look like an active fighter against a fighter that's like not as active in the fight.
Yeah, it definitely did to me as well, especially in that first round, as you say.
Yeah. But yeah, it's exciting now, featherweight for Lopez.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think Ortega should potentially move up to lightweight and get himself a big fight there.
Who do you see him fighting next, Lopez?
He can't fight it. Ilya's got Max, and I've talked about Volk before.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anyone mention it. And I'm kind of like, why is Volk just waiting for that rematch with Ilya? Which, I mean, to be fair, I know he got knocked out, but he was the reigning champ for a good while. Like, other than Ilya, no one had beat him apart from lightweights.
Volk's got cash in the bank as well, and he took like a short notice fight against Islam, and that's what he got cash in the bank with Dana. So I wouldn't be shocked if he fights the winner of Holloway Topuria. And
then if he does do that, it kind of leaves Lopez almost waiting, I think, because who else can he? Maybe Aljo, if Aljo comes through the next one for the number one.
He was in my mind, but I've kind of got an idea that Lopez fights the loser of Holloway Topuria, because they're not going to drop below the top three, are they? Whoever loses that, they're going to be rank 1 or 2. And imagine a Lopez versus Holloway fight.
That's a banger, isn't it? That is. I like that fight better than the earlier fight, to be honest.
I do. I like that better.
Just as like a stylistic fight. I mean, not anything on the line. Just like stylistically.
I like both them matchups, but I like a Holloway Lopez fight, like
just standing and banging. It might be the Gaethje one, but like I feel like Lopez will do better than Gaethje did, because I think it was a bit of a mad one with Gaethje, weren't it? But wow, what a fight! I didn't even think of that.
Lopez is wild, but he's still technical.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, absolutely.
His striking's still technical.
Well, you said there about Gaethje. Gaethje was the same one. Like when he come in, he was a lot more wild.
Yeah.
But he still had that uppercut. That uppercut that he throws nice and neat in there. It was very technical, and he was getting a lot of people with it. I think didn't he knock Tony down with it once in there, and stuff like that. And like Lopez is similar. He's got similar shots where you're like, wow, got that in there quick. And you do think of him as a brawler, but he is a really technical striker as well. And now he's top 3.
Yeah, and whoever he fights will be exciting.
Yeah. Moving on then to the fight before, we were texting Jordan, it weren't we? But you were a bit ahead of me. Like we watched it the next morning, recorded. I mean, you were a little bit ahead of me.
Yeah.
Just text me as it went, and then I just text you, oh my god, that you said that.
When you text me and said end of round 2, boss fight this 1-1, I've got it. I was like, oh, he doesn't know what's coming.
It was even up until that point, without that last round, I was watching thinking this is a very good fight. That Zell Huber looked brilliant, very technical. I know the comments were going on about the jab a lot, which was nice.
Yeah.
And then I was seeing it sway just a little bit. I thought, oh, hang on, he's coming on, obviously we both backed Ribovics, and I could just see it coming. And then when he hit him with that shot, I was like, oh my god, he is going. And some way he stayed. I think it should have been stopped, but I'm made up it weren't.
Yeah. Well, that's like sometimes we see fights stop, don't we? And we think what would have happened. Well, that's what can happen sometimes. He was good till the end, wasn't he? He was still very much in the fight. Now, I don't know how much that third round took off his career, but
he got buzzed about 5 times after the big one.
But he buzzed Ribovic back, not quite to the same level, but he buzzed him back.
Did, and I was so like when you'd obviously text me, I was kind of thinking, oh my god, is he going to knock Ribovic out now? And it's going to go the absolute other way, because he did hit him back. It was like just one thing I want to say on the Ortega one as well that I forgot about. With Ortega, when he got buzzed, because he hit him again straight after, it was like he woke him up. It's like he knocked him with the right hand and woke him up with the left hand.
You've seen that before, haven't you? You've seen that happen before, yeah.
And I think it kind of happened with Uber as well. I feel like he was out, and then he got woke up, and then he got put back out again.
That was one of the wildest exchanges and one of the wildest rounds I can remember watching in the UFC. Like that round probably goes into my top 3 rounds I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Now, after 2 rounds as well, I was sitting there and I was thinking, this has been a brilliant fight. But it wasn't like a barnstormer where someone was rocked and then it was just a really technical, high level striking fight. After watching it, I'm surprised he matched these two up so early, to be honest.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I mean, with this card, obviously, there does the Mexican appeal stuff like that, and we'd tipped that fight before it to be fight tonight. We both fancied it.
Yeah,
but like it delivered and then some. It was absolutely unreal. I like them fights when they're over 3 rounds. You know, like Gaethje Chandler and Poirier Gaethje with 3 rounders, and it's just like all out action. And I think maybe the UFC kind of knew that and wanted that as a 3-round fight at this point, as opposed to it being maybe a 5-round fight down the line, and maybe it's a little bit more technical.
Yeah,
wow, it delivered.
I suppose with the 3-rounder, when they're closely matched, it's like 2 strikers are closely matched. It's like the likelihood is it's going to be 1-1 going into the 3rd.
Yeah.
So, and with these two, although they were both strikers, I feel like Zeluba is a little bit more technical and Ribovic is a bit more wild. And that's what we see. Like, it felt to me like in the first round, Zeluba was jab and he was keeping him at a nice range, and it was all tidy, clean work. It was a good 10-9 for his clean work for me in the first round. And in the second, Ribovic got a little bit closer and got inside a little bit more and made it a bit ugly and took that round for me that way. So then when it went into the 3rd, I was like, is Zeluba going to be able to impose his technical side, or is Ribovic going to be able to impose his will? And it just didn't matter, did it? It was just a firefight.
Yeah. And just on that, while we were talking about judges before, I heard the split decision come out.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, to be honest. I had it 29-27 for Ribovic, and that was me saying first round Zeluba, then the next 2 for Ribovic, but with a 10-8 in the final.
Yeah, exactly the same as you.
One judge added a 29-28 to Zeluba, didn't he?
Yeah.
So he's got him losing the last round as a 10-9 when he was basically asleep 3 times, and then winning the first 2. Like,
I can't even really see the argument for winning the first 2. I can't see the argument for him winning that second round. No, I can't. I was going to say maybe a draw at a push, but I really can't get his thoughts. Maybe a draw at a push. Maybe a draw at a push.
I could make an argument for a draw because, as I said to you when I texted a little bit earlier, after 2 rounds, I had it 1-1, 19-19. But I could have made a case for it being 20-18 or 18-20 either way. Like it could have been either way. So if you've got that 2-0 Zeluba going into the 3rd and then you give a 10-8, I can see why you'd give a draw.
Yeah.
But I can't make a case for Zeluba winning that fight. I can't.
No.
You can't win a 3-round fight if you get beaten in 10-8 in 1 round. You can't win it.
Yeah, no, it's impossible. It is impossible, and he was absolutely out on his feet as well. If he'd have stole that, it would have been a bad look. Like,
yeah, it would have, and it would have tainted the card then, wouldn't it?
That's when you are talking robbery, because you didn't win.
There was a few interesting scorecards, but thankfully none of them impacted the fight outcome. Now that one, a split decision, doesn't seem fair because a split decision looks closer than the fight was, in my opinion. Yeah. But at least he's got the win. The right man's hand got raised, so.
Yeah, exactly. You've nailed it, to be fair there. And then the first fight on the main card.
Yeah.
An absolute banger.
Yeah.
One that, again, the judges' scorecard was a bit bizarre.
Yeah.
But like you're saying, the right man won, in my opinion. But I really thought, obviously we both backed him as well, Rodriguez. I really thought he was going out in the first minute. And I was like, oh my God, the bet's down already.
Yeah. Probably showed the most grit on the card, didn't he, for me? Like that was the closest to being finished of them all, I reckon.
Yeah.
I know the Ribovic one, but in the Ribovic fight, he didn't pick his shots well enough to finish Zeluba. This one looked to me like he was very, very close to being out.
For all he hit him with, I don't think he actually dropped Zeluba. He tipped himself up, obviously, when he was on wobbly legs.
Yeah.
But Rodriguez got knocked clean.
And then put in a sub, yeah.
And his head on the floor.
Yeah.
And then was, getting choked.
Bashed in a sub, so and how someone hasn't give that first round a 10-8 is just beyond me, but...
Yeah. It is crazy. That is one of them where, like, when you're talking about bonuses and stuff, and the way Dana gave Paddy 2 bonuses because he said he choked him out and armbarred him in the same fight.
Yeah.
First round was basically that he would have knocked him out and submitted in the same fight, but somehow he stayed. It was weird. You seen the moment that he come back. It was like because like he was out of the submission and he didn't stand up, and then he went back into it, and then you can't see like a moment where his brain must have switched back on, and he was in there again. You're like, wow, that recovery is crazy.
100%, and I feel like might sound like a bit of a crazy shout, but I feel like if he's not a Mexican on that card, that fight ends in the first round. He just had that extra. He has that extra like 5-10% that we discussed on the pre-show, which got him through that first round, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, when you see like some of the fighters walking out, even Sugar Sean, like you seen them look up.
Yeah.
Like on the telly, that looked unreal. So imagine what it looked like in person, like the whole thing just going up like a coliseum.
Yeah.
And on top of it, you're a Mexican. Most of the people in there will have been Mexican.
Yeah.
Cheering you. You're gonna that is gonna stop you from going to sleep that little couple of percent.
Yeah. Do you know what? I hope this resonates with someone, because if this doesn't land on anyone, I'm gonna look pretty stupid. But have you ever been to Florida?
Mm.
You know the Avatar ride in Florida in one of the
Yeah.
Didn't it remind you of that?
When I went, it was it weren't the Avatar ride, it was soaring, and you fly around the world.
Yeah.
Like it kind of like the way their seats are, but you like your length forward. And I was thinking, what it looked like to me. I was thinking it.
That's what it looked like to me. All I could think of was that Avatar ride. I wanted to go back on it.
No, it was like the production of that was unreal.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was really not sure about this. I was like, how are they going to make this good? I thought it'd be a brilliant event live to be there, but I was like, how are they going to make this as good for telly? Like when you're not there, and they nailed it.
Yeah. Well, but off the topic of that and back to the fight, just on that Rodriguez-Osborne fight, how did you score that one?
What were let's get the scorecards up first.
I think 2 judges had it 29-27 Rodriguez. I think, if I remember right.
Scorecards. Because when he said it, I thought, wow. UFC. Any of the scorecards? Let me just scroll down. Give me 2 seconds to find this. Just while I'm looking for it, by the way, how nasty is that cut on Irene Aldana? Just scroll past it then. Disgusting.
You just don't want to go on with a cut like that, do you?
No. It looked like Chucky. So it was 29-27 Rodriguez, 29-28 Rodriguez, 29-27 Rodriguez.
Yeah. So it's obviously unanimous decision win.
Yeah.
But none of them 3 judges have given that first round as a 10-8.
No.
And 2 of the judges give Rodriguez a 10-8 somewhere in that fight.
Yeah.
Now that for me was
it was a closer fight than that. Like even if that was a split decision win, I'd have probably gone, I can see how you make an argument for Osborne winning a fight with a 10-8 in the first.
I don't want to harp on all the time about the judges' decisions, but for me, this fight was the only one for me, and I'm not saying I'm the expert, but I had this a draw because I had a 10-8 Osborne first round, and then Rodriguez won the next 2 10-9. So I had a 28-28 draw, and like that could impact someone's career massively. That's a whole difference. If it's a difference between a split decision win and a unanimous decision win, it never makes that much of an impact. But that's the difference between drawing a fight and losing a fight.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not necessarily saying I'm right, because I can see an argument where 10-9 Osborne and then 10-9 Rodriguez twice, so he wins 29-28.
Yeah.
But I can't really see an argument where Rodriguez gets a 10-8 in any of them rounds.
No, I agree with that. I won't argue with you over the draw.
Yeah.
I had it as draw, maybe Rodriguez win by giving the first round a 10-9. I personally think it's a 10-8, which kind of says I think it's a draw.
Yeah.
And I kind of knew that was going to be a sort of contemplation point, but I didn't think to give him a 10-8 in any of the other ones, because I can't see where he would have got it. I know he was throwing up submission attempts and stuff, but there was nothing in there to give him a 10-8 really.
It's just as like they've got to get crisper, haven't they, with like the scoring criteria, because you can't. I don't see how, as like a fight fan or someone who watches fights, you can see. If you told me there was a 10-8 round in that fight, it's so clear which one it was.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously the card wrapped up for the main card we're talking. But those first 3 fights we were just saying before we jumped on were all so close to being finished very early.
Yeah.
And they stayed in there for the 3 rounds. And up until that point, the card was on fire. I was thinking, oh my God, I wish I'd have stayed up last night and watched it. I wish we'd watched it together. And then the co-main and main did snooze it out a little bit. I know Dana weren't too happy, but as a whole, I think the UFC smashed it.
Yeah. It's not often all 5 fights on the main card all went to decision. It's not often that happens, and you're okay with it. I'm okay with it last night because the first 3 were genuine barnstormers. I watched the first 3 fights, 45 minutes of fighting, and it felt like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
The co-main and the main for me, as I say, as I touched on a little bit earlier, sometimes there's just a clear path to victory for people, and you choose the path of least resistance when you're going for a belt, so I understand it. But the first 3 fights were absolutely outstanding for me.
Yeah. Do you think they go back?
I hope so. I really hope so. I think that card and that production did warrant some bigger names. I understand the Mexican sort of flair that was on it, and I understand it. But I think it warrants some bigger names, and if they go back, I'd like to see like the big names fighting on that card because I'd like to see what they do then. Yeah,
it would be impressive. I was thinking about this morning, and I think for the Sphere, but just again, I've got no clue about the back end stuff and all that. But I think for how much Dana was saying it costed, you're not going to see a Conor McGregor at the Sphere. You probably won't see a John Jones at the Sphere because they're going to cost too much money to get them to even fight. But I think you can see some big stars. Obviously, they're trying to build out Sean O'Malley to be a star. And if he would have won that fight, his star would have definitely shown brighter. But I think when they come back, they do need like you're saying, slightly bigger names. But you're probably not going to see the top of the food chain names. But you might see Ilia Topuria, for example, who's, again, nearly there. And imagine him Max in there, or Matt, and then Ilia fight someone else, and you put Max and Diego Lopes on the undercard, the co-main. They're 2 bangers for me.
Do you know what? That's an excellent point. I hadn't even really thought about that. Dana made such a big point of how much money he's laid out on production and stuff like that. It didn't even cross my mind that maybe fighter purses were a bit scarce for this. So you've made a valid point. You're probably not going to see a Conor or a John Jones either on a Sphere card if they continue to cost that much to put on.
Yeah, I think you can see bigger names though. I think you can definitely see bigger names on the build-up card. You just won't get the top dog basically as a main event. Yeah. But what a card. What a good night of UFC. That's all I've got to say about it. Is there anything else you've got in you?
Yeah, I think rather than what a card, for me, just what an event.
Yeah. That was the thing, and obviously the very smart business people, we were calling on it before it, and I think you were right. They made that an event rather than focusing on the fight card. And if they'd have focused on the fight card, it probably would have flopped a little bit because they'd have been pushing Sean. Sean got beat. They'd have been pushing Alexa because she's the champ. She got beat. And it would have maybe been one of them little weird cards that didn't quite hit, whereas now you're looking at it going, wow, let's go back.
Yeah, I agree totally.
Yeah. Well, that wraps it up. Thanks everyone for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe. Let us know down below if you think we're talking nonsense, and we'll see you in the next one.